What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the complete step-by-step guide to selling life insurance in 2025. So if you're a brand new agent just getting into the business, or even if you've been in the industry for a while and you want to transition to selling from home, remotely, or from anywhere else in the world, this video is going to give you literally everything that you need. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm going to walk you guys through what we're going to be covering in this video. Step by step. First, I'm going to go over the expectations of what you need to know when it comes to selling life insurance, particularly from home. The physical toolbox, so all of the gadgets, all of the headsets, desks, laptops, the whole setup that you need in order to do this. I'm going to show you guys what softwares you're going to need as well. The digital toolbox. I'm going to show you guys how to pick a market, which is extremely important so that you know who you're going to sell to, what are the hot markets in 2025, and what's going to be the most profitable market for you to enter into going into this year. We're also going to talk about how you pick an agency, so who to sell with. I'm going to show you guys how to get leads, how to find people to talk to, what are the best lead sources, what are the worst lead sources. We're going to cover all of that. I'm even going to show you guys how to get together a script and a sales process. And I'll even give you our script and our sales process so you can just copy that directly. And that is a script that has earned our agency and helped us scale an agency to $100,000 per month in just 85 days. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to show you guys the 2 ways to build wealth and passive income as an insurance agent. So all of these top guys that you see making 7 figures, multi-7 figures, these are the 2 ways to do it. So without any further ado, let's dive right in. Again, this is going to be an end-to-end complete everything you could possibly need to know to get started selling life insurance from home this year. Now, first and foremost, we need to cover some expectations because this is one of the biggest things in the industry that people get wrong, right? As you can see right here, this is what most recruiters will tell you it's going to be like making 6 figures, right? It's going to be a straight, easy path to the finish line, and next thing you know, you're going to be making a bunch of money. Or even 7 figures if that's what you want to do as well, right? 6 or 7 figures. Now, in reality, what actually happens is you get started, you go here, you think it's going to be smooth sailing, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's this little pit and something goes wrong. And then there's this forest you got to go through, and then this little, trolley thing, you got to cross this dangerous cavern, and then you got to go across, like, the path to get to the finish line here is much more treacherous, and you're going to have to go through a lot more BS than you think, right? There's a famous quote from some entrepreneur who said, if I knew it was going to be this hard, I wouldn't have even started, right? And in reality, anything you get into, but especially this, is going to be harder, and there's going to be more obstacles in your way than you think. So expect the reality. Don't expect what people are selling you, right? Expect to go through some trials and tribulations. Don't expect it to come easy, but ultimately that's what makes it worth doing, because if it was easy, everyone would be doing it, and then it wouldn't be easy anymore, right? So some expectations. In the beginning, you will suck. You will probably lose some money, right? You will work over 40 hours a week. You won't be able to work part-time. You're going to be responsible for sales, marketing, finance, and HR if you're recruiting and training and onboarding people. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to get rich quick, and you should expect to fail. But failure is not finite, right? And if you stick with this and don't quit, in a few years or maybe even a few months, if you learn quick, you could be making the most amount of money that you've ever made. I've met some of the wealthiest people that I know who made their money in this industry, but I've also met some of the poorest people who have lost a lot of money in this industry by not knowing the things that I'm about to teach you and show you in this video, okay? So expect this to be hard and be okay with it being hard, right? I just have to get that out of the way because a lot of people are sold the dream when they get into the industry, and then it slaps them in the face when they realize the harsh reality, okay? So that's some expectations to be set for you guys. Now, let's talk about what you need. So first and foremost, you're going to need a laptop or a computer. I prefer a laptop. As you can see, I got my laptop right here. I prefer a laptop because it allows me to pick it up and go wherever I want, right? Right now I'm home for the holidays. In one day, I'm going to be flying to Brazil for New Year's, and I'm going to be selling insurance from Brazil. That will be another video I will show you guys. But a laptop allows you to travel and be mobile, and that's part of the beauty of this industry is you can do it from anywhere. So I recommend getting a laptop. You can get a MacBook Pro on Amazon for about $1,500, right? A headset, right? You're going to want to have a headset. I use headphones right? Like this. I use headphones like this, and then I have like a Shure mic at home. What I would probably get if I were you is just get like a headset that has a little mic attachment, almost like a gaming headset. I've linked one that's pretty good here that costs about $100, so you can get that one if you want. Now here's where you can kind of deck your setup out. If you guys want to see, I could show you guys a video of how my whole office looks like. This is not it. This is just a little office I'm renting when I'm back home for the holidays. But I have like a whole fancy chair because I want to be comfy. I have a desk that raises, right, like a standing desk. I have all these different things. I got a treadmill I can do while I'm walking and calling. These are the things I'm about to go over are obviously optional because you don't have to have this to sell, but it's kind of nice to have. And what I've realized is you want to make your working environment as enjoyable as possible, so you spend more time there, right? Because ultimately you're going to make more money from spending more time working. So if you make the time you spend working enjoyable, you're going to make more money, right? So you can get a nice gaming chair. You want something that's not going to cause you physical pain because you're going to be sitting at your desk all the time. Raising desk, right? I like being able to stand and sit down. It kind of keeps the blood flowing, keeps me healthy so that I don't have to cash in my life insurance early. An ergonomic mouse, right? You want to have kind of a nice mouse. A Bluetooth keyboard. So basically like all these different things. The way that I have it set up is I'll have like my laptop and then I'll have a big monitor that I can look at. So I basically have two screens. So I can have like my script up on my laptop and then I can have my dialer up on the monitor or whatever I need. And then I'll have like a normal mouse that attaches to my laptop and then a keyboard that also attaches to my laptop. So my laptop can be kind of far away from me and then I'm looking at the other monitor and then the laptop is an extra screen. So all of these things allow you to do that. That's why I have like the docking stand is because it plugs into my MacBook and then lets me have these different things that come out of it. So I basically have multiple screens, multiple keyboards, different things like that, right? So the most basic version of this setup, like realistically, you just need to have a laptop and a headset. If you have those two things, you're golden. You're good. If you want to make it fancy, I've included some of the things that I have that I recommend that you can also get. And if you guys want to see like a whole desk setup, best desk setup for telesales, you can let me know and I'll hook you guys up. Now, that's the physical toolbox, right? Don't get too caught in the weeds of like, oh, I need to buy this thing and that thing. Just get the bare necessities. If you want to, go out and get a desk and get a nice little chair or whatever so you enjoy it more, do that. But don't spend a ton of time like trying to pick the perfect chair. Like I've seen people get crazy where they spend a month, making a pros and cons list of different chairs. Don't do that. Okay, don't be that guy. The next thing is a digital toolbox. So these are basically the softwares that you're going to need. First and foremost, you're going to need a CRM. I highly recommend Go High Level. Okay. Now we have customed and put together and tweaked this white labeled version of Go High Level. I'll include a link down below in the description if you guys want to use that. It's already fully set up for telesales. Ours is $97 a month for the CRM. So I would recommend using that if you want something that's going to be ready to go out of the box. Or you can also just go to Go High Level and just get theirs directly. Ours is already put together for you. It's set up the exact way that I would tell you to do it. Whereas Go High Level, you kind of have to build it. But ultimately, you do need a CRM, and Go High Level is the best one. Those are your two options. Link will be down below in the description for either one. A dialer, okay? So this is very, very important. You want a software that's specifically created for making dials, okay? There's a couple different options, and I'll overview those in a second, but Go High Level's CRM dialer is not sufficient. You're going to want the CRM for texting contacts, automations. You're going to be able to store all of your leads inside of the CRM, right? And build out different automations and different emails and drip sequences that are going to nurture your leads. And it just overall helps you keep track of all of your people better. Whereas a dialer, you want a software that's specifically designed to rapid fire call through your leads and increase your answer rate. So there's like 3 or 4 main dialers that are out there. For the longest time, I've recommended 2, but we've kind of created our own white labeled version of a dialer that I'll explain. So a couple different options. You're usually going to pay about $150 a month for a dialer. Go High Level has a really good dialer that it integrates with called Wave. So Wave integrates directly into Go High Level. It's very easy to use, very easy to set up. That is the first option. The second one is Kixie. Kixie is a little bit better than Wave, but it's a complex integration. You have to do all this different stuff to kind of sort it together. That is an option, but you gotta kind of, it's duct taped together with Go High Level, so it's not the best. And then the third one is something called Hot Prospector. So we've basically created our own white labeled version of this that fits into our CRM. So it's perfectly set up for the whole telesales. So if you guys want to just have something that's ready to go out of the box, you don't want to do any of the tech setup or whatever, I would recommend you guys can use our CRM. The CRM is $97 a month. And then our white labeled version, the dialer, is like $130 a month at the time of recording this. It may be different when you click on the link, but it's like $130 at the time of recording. So if you get those two things, you're good to go out of the box for sure, okay? So those are the two things you need in terms of storing and contacting your leads. The other thing you're gonna need, if you're selling term or final expense, you're gonna wanna use something called insurance toolkits. And this is a quoting software, so it'll allow you to basically find the best deal for the person you're talking to. Whereas if you're selling IULs, you're gonna wanna use something called WinFlex, which allows you to easily put together IUL illustrations with all of your different carriers, okay? So total for the CRM, the dialer, and then insurance toolkits is gonna be about like $280 a month. And then if you're using IUL, obviously you could subtract the quota from that because WinFlex is free, okay? Now, here's where things start to get serious. So we talked about the tools, we talked about what you need to get started. Now, this is where real big decisions start to get made, okay? So this is where you need to start picking a market, okay? So people get confused with these three different terms: products, markets, and niches, okay? So what a lot of people do is when they get in the business, they say, hey, I'm gonna go sell term. I'm in the term market, right? Term is not a market. Term is a product, right? Term life insurance. Final expense insurance is not a market. It is a product, okay? IULs are not a market. They are a product. Annuities are not a market. They are a product, okay? Products are products, right? They're types of insurance, for example, okay? Whereas markets are demands for those products. So when you think of the market, think of like the people and the way that you're selling it. Products are just what you're selling. So whenever someone asks you, hey, what market are you in? You can't say I'm in the term market. I'm in the final expense market. I'm in the whole life market. That's just a product. It's not a market, okay? An example of a market would be the senior market. Now that's a massive market and it's very broad. The senior market would be a market. Another market could be young parents. That is a market, okay? The retirement planning market is a market, okay? Markets are big, typically. Sometimes there's small markets, but in general, when we're talking about markets and insurance, those are gonna be big segments of people. Now a niche is a smaller segment of a market, okay? Hopefully I'm keeping you guys, you're still following what I'm saying, all right? So again, product is a product. A market is a big segment of people. A niche is a smaller slice of that pie. So for example, let's say we were going after the retirement planning market, right? So a product that people often use in this market is they'll use IULs and annuities to help people plan for retirement, okay? For example, people will use IULs to create a tax-free income source in retirement. So they'll use that to solve a problem in the retirement planning market. Now we could look at a niche inside of the retirement planning market, and let's say we're helping truckers plan for retirement. Now, look at how this would fit together. The product we would probably be selling is IULs and annuities. The market we would be in is the retirement planning market, and the niche we'd be targeting is truckers, okay? So, with all of that being said, the market you pick is going to directly impact the quality of your business, okay? For good or for bad. So there's pros and cons to every market too. So this is why you want to do your research. You want to figure out, hey, what am I going to be best at? Who do I like talking to? Where are my strengths, right? Every single market you look at is going to have pros and it's going to have cons. It's going to have good parts and it's going to have shitty parts, right? Pardon my French. But for example, let's say you go after the senior market and you're selling final expense to seniors living on a fixed income. You are going to have a big market. It's not going to be a complex sale, right? These are pros. Big market, not a complex sale. Don't need to have multiple calls. These are all pros. The cons is you may have chargebacks and affordability issues. So you got to take the good with the bad. Pick your market knowing the good and the bad. Another example, let's say you're going to sell IULs in the retirement market to working class individuals that have 401ks. More of a complex sale, might take a couple calls. You got to be a little bit smarter and better at communicating. Cons, pros, bigger commissions, lower chargebacks, still a big market, right? Those are very, very common markets that people will pick, right? Another, let's say we want to only target super rich people, right? Like I only want to talk to people that have $5 million a year or more, and I'm going to sell key man insurance to high net worth business owners. Well, the pro, massive commissions. They're probably not going to charge back. I might get a lot of referrals from that. But the cons is I'm basically elephant hunting. So I'd be going from like, I might get one deal a month. And so it's feast or famine, right? So there's pros and there's cons to every market. Research the market you want to be in. Look at the pros, look at the cons, talk to people in those markets, and then decide what you want to get into. The most common ones, hopefully I'm not confusing you guys, the most common ones are people will go to the senior market and they'll usually sell final expense to low-income seniors. People will sell mortgage protection to new homeowners, or people will do the retirement planning kind of market where they sell like IULs and annuities. This one, right, the senior market, low-income seniors, the highest chargebacks. The mortgage is going to be a little bit lower chargebacks, and then the retirement planning is going to be the lowest chargebacks. But they are all, they're in order of lowest chargebacks, they go up in terms of complexity of the product, okay? So products are not markets. Again, products are tools, and markets often need multiple products. So for example, if you're selling life insurance to seniors on fixed income, they may also need Medicare, okay? The market that you pick is going to have downstream effects on your business. So you want to, again, really do your due diligence on this. I know I'm hitting this pretty hard and I'm beating a dead horse here, but that is a very, very important thing to do. And when I first got into the business, I was not cognizant of the market that I was getting into. I kind of just dove in with what I was recruited to, and I ended up kind of wanting to shift into a different space, okay? If you guys have questions about picking a market, you can drop in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them. Now, next thing we need to do is pick an agency. So there's 5 keys when it comes to picking the right agency: comp, training, captive agent versus broker, culture, and resources, okay? So I'm going to tell you guys a little story about comp or compensation. So let's say you're going to go start a pizza restaurant, and you have 2 different options for business partners. On the left, this is John, and on the right, this is Jim. We'll call him George. It'll be a little easier to remember. So John and George. So John only wants 10% of your business, but George wants 50% of your business, right? Promises will make sense. Just bear with me. So John, for 10%, he's going to connect you with his suppliers, and he wants to be a silent partner. So, maybe he'll answer your phone call, maybe not, but he doesn't really want to be bothered. He's going to be playing golf with his family. Whereas Jim, he wants half of your business, but he wants a lot. He's going to be giving you a lot more, right? So he's going to be connecting you with the suppliers. He's going to give you his proven framework and system that he's personally used to grow his own pizza restaurant. He's going to do all these different things, right? You guys can see the bullet points. He's going to be giving you a lot more in exchange for that 50, right? So whereas one guy's taking 10, but he's going to be silent and doesn't really want to give you a ton of help, the other guy's taking 50, but you're getting a lot more in exchange. Which one would you pick? Well, in this example, especially if you're a newer agent, you might want to partner with Jim because you're going to get a lot more support. You're giving up more, but you're going to get more in return, right? And this is kind of the same way that you want to think about picking an agency. You shouldn't only look for the highest comp. It definitely plays a factor, and you don't want to get screwed by comp, but you don't want to say, hey, I need the highest comp and then not get any support, because 100% of 0 is still 0. So you should be willing to give up some comp to kind of learn different things and get different resources from your agency. There are some agencies out there, however, that want 50% of your business but only want to connect you with suppliers and be a silent partner, and they don't give you any support or training. Stay away from those. So if someone is trying to give you a lower comp and they're not going to give you any support, that's not a worthwhile business partnership, and you shouldn't even consider it. Okay. The other thing is training, right? So you really want an agency that has a heavy emphasis on training and giving you a lot of resources to help you sharpen your sword and improve your craft, right? A lot of IMOs send agents into battle like this, right? You want to be a ninja, not a whatever kind of dog this is. I don't even know. You don't want to be this dog. You want to be this guy that's in the dojo training and prepared for battle. So training is very important. You want an agency that kind of promotes a culture of lots of different people getting together, exchanging ideas, and helping each other out. That's extremely important. Okay. The next thing is a captive agent versus a broker. So a captive agent means that you only sell one product. So for example, a Jake from State Farm. Now the problem when you're a captive agent, okay, you only represent one company, meaning that a lot of times you're gonna lose. Like if you and another agent are both quoting the same customer, and the other agent is a broker and they offer multiple products, and you only offer one, you're gonna lose that deal 95% of the time. Right? Even if you sell that client and then the other agent comes behind you and can beat you with a better rate or a better offer, a lot of times you'll get that charge back and the business will be replaced. So my personal opinion, when you're a captive agent, you're kind of like trying to fit a square into a round hole, right? Square peg into a round hole, because you're just one size fits all. Whereas with a broker, you have multiple different options and you can find the best option for each individual person. You're able to match a little bit better. So instead of trying to fit a square peg through a round hole, it's like Tinder. Like, hey, okay, perfect. You're going to be best with this carrier. No, you're going to be best with this carrier. So it's easier to match people with the right company when you have multiple options. Okay. The other thing that's very important to consider is culture. So whenever you're picking an agency, is it an MLM or is it production based? And I'm not speaking judgment on either one. But MLMs are going to be more about recruiting, bringing more people in, building the team, whereas production-based is going to be more about selling. So figure out, what do you want to be? Do you want to be more MLM? Do you want to be more production-based? And there's not a problem with either one. You just need to figure out what fits you the best. The other thing is, how do they talk about the clients? So I've been a part of different agencies where they'll speak very, very ill, very negatively, kind of derogatory towards the clients. To me, that's a big turnoff. That's something I would very much pay attention to. Also, how do they talk about other agents? So I remember my first agency that I joined, our upline, we were all hanging out at the office. We would all go in on Mondays and call leads together, and we're sitting in his office, and he gets, I think we were calling to recruit people, so we were calling resumes. So I called this one guy, and it turned out that he had worked at the agency that we were at a couple years prior. And he starts talking about his experience at the agency. And the second we hang up the phone, my upline immediately just starts totally like bagging on the guy, just talking about, how awful he was, and, he's so soft and this and that, and just totally, it seemed extremely unprofessional, the way that they would talk about other agents that had left them. And so if you join an agency that speaks ill about either the clients or the previous agents that have been there, or maybe even the agents that are currently there, they're going to do the same thing to you behind your back, and that's generally a red flag for me. Same thing you want to ask about is, do they release agents? So if somebody decides they don't want to be a part of this agency anymore and they want to move on, is that company going to allow them to go, or are they going to hold their contracts, which is something that agencies can do? They can essentially lock you out of the business for 6 months or more, meaning that you can't sell any of the carriers that you had with that agency, right? So that's usually a big red flag if someone does not release. If for whatever reason something goes wrong, you're not going to be able to sell. So make sure you find an agency that fits your needs, if it's MLM or production based, an agency that doesn't speak ill about the clients or other agents, and that also is willing to release agents in general. The next thing you want to look for is resources, right? So you want to find somewhere that has a good script and a sales process, a CRM, like systems, right? Systems are very important. a dialer, maybe some call recordings you can listen to, and overall just support with the sales. Leads. So now that we've talked about the agency, we've talked about the toolbox, we've talked about all these different things, let's talk about leads, okay? So a couple things you guys need to know. Leads are going to determine the quality of your business. They are the lifeblood of your business. So if you don't have leads, you don't have a business. If you don't have people to talk to, you don't have anyone to sell, right? You're not going to be making any sales. This is by far what I've seen most agents' frustration. What they struggle with the most is leads, which is why I'm going to spend a decent portion of this presentation talking about it, because it's very important for you to get this right, okay? One thing we'll touch on is having more leads than time. Very, very important. I'll explain what that is. And then also the way that the lead is generated is going to determine the quality of the lead. So we'll talk about that as well. Low-cost leads will also give you higher margins, which I'll touch on in just a moment, okay? So this is always a good analogy, a good story to kind of explain what the downstream effects of leads are, right? So a lot of leads in this business are generated with something called bait and switch marketing. If you're new to the industry and you start going out and looking at different lead vendors and calling different leads, you're going to notice this, right? When I first got into the business, I was working what's called direct mail Walmart gift card leads. So for example, I would get a mailer about this size, right? And basically on the mailer, they would scribble on their name, phone number, address, whatever. And up at the top, it would say, hey, fill in your info and send this back for a free Walmart gift card, okay? And then they would put their info in below. So when I would go to their house, I would say, hey, is Jimbo there? Yeah, this is Jimbo. Hey, Jim, this is just Tim. I was getting back to you about that card that you'd sent back in the mail. I had mentioned about the state-approved final expense program and mentioned the free Walmart gift card as well. Does that ring a bell? That was my intro into the house, was free Walmart gift card. And so I would give them a $5 Walmart gift card, get into their house, and then pivot over to selling them insurance. And as you can imagine, that went about as well as you think it would. I actually sold policies, but they ended up canceling the policy and they just wanted the gift card most of the time. So as you can see, that's an example of the way the lead was generated resulted in the type of customer that I was attracting, which resulted in how my business performed. So a lot of things are connected in this business. The way the leads come in is going to result in how your sales process works, which is going to result in how many deals you close, which is going to result in the type of people. Like, it's all connected, right? It's all connected. It's all very important. So downstream effects. If we're going to build a house, right, look right here. Would you rather build a house here downstream of water where a factory is polluting and people are, feces are going into the water? Or are you going to build your house here, or are you going to build your house here where the water that you're drinking, your family and your dog, they're going to be drinking water that just melted off of the top of a glacier? I'm definitely taking the glacier water. I want the clear, crisp, fresh water that's healthy. And the downstream effects of what's going to happen is, my family's going to be much more healthy if I build my house here as opposed to here. So there's three main ways that you can get leads. You can buy them, you can generate them, and then you can get them for free, okay? So buying leads, this is where you go to a lead vendor. The problem is with this, you're oftentimes going to pay an inflated cost because the lead vendor has to make money some way. So you're going to pay more money to buy leads because the middleman has to make a margin, which means when you go to sell a policy, your profits are lower. Part of the money you make selling is going to go to pay back those leads. So buying leads can be less profitable. The other thing to consider as well is a lot of lead vendors, they use this bait and switch marketing because the way they make money is to get leads for really, really cheap and then sell them to you for a markup. So the cheaper that they can get these leads, the more profit that they can ultimately make when they sell them to you. And that's the game that lead vendors essentially play, right? So you're going to get a lot of these bait and switch. You're going to get people that think it's about something for free, or they have totally misaligned expectations. And most lead vendors will not and are not willing to show you what they are showing the leads. They are not willing to show you their ads, okay? The second way is to generate leads. So this is what I personally recommend people to do because you have full control over it. You're getting leads at wholesale cost or free, depending on how you generate leads. And that ultimately results in you having a higher profit margin because there's no middleman in between. And again, you have full control over the entire messaging. So you control the quality of your lead. Now, the way that I usually recommend people to do this is to run ads on Facebook, or, the way that you can do it for free is go out and get referrals or talk to people. So generating leads, in my opinion, is the best. And by far the best way to do that is to generate your own leads on Facebook, which I'll talk a little bit more about that later and how you can go about doing that. The last way is, this is the way I got started. And if you're in a, kind of a tough financial situation, this could be a good way for you to get started, is free leads. So basically you take a reduced comp, because at the end of the day, nothing is free. I used to run a free lead program, and we took a big portion of the agent's comp to go and pay for leads. So you give up comp in order to get free leads, and then you go and sell those leads, and then you get reduced commissions, essentially. Free lead programs are decent for people that are more employee-minded. If you're more of a business owner type and you want to build your own business, I do not recommend becoming a free lead agent because you essentially end up just being an employee. So those are a couple things you guys need to know about leads, right? So let me make sure I touched on one of these. Okay, more leads than time. So basically what happens is you want to have more people to talk to than you have time to talk to them. And the way that you do this, when you generate your own leads, because you can get leads for such a low cost, you can fill your pipeline, right? You can fill your pipeline, your follow-up pipeline, with so many people that you don't even have time to talk to them all. Which means that, if you jump on the phone with someone and they cuss you out, or, whatever situation happens, you are not in a scarcity mindset because you have so many more people to talk to. So you want to have more leads than you have time to talk to those leads, so that you do not have to be in a scarcity mindset, okay? So again, generating your own leads is the best way to do it. Low cost, you have full control over the messaging, you get higher intent leads, and you have higher profit margins. Now, let's talk about the sales process and the script, okay? So the sales process and the script, a lot of people get cocky and they think, oh, I don't need a script, I'm good at sales, or they'll say something to that effect, right? No matter how good you are at sales, that is just total and complete BS. Because a sales process is essentially like a GPS, right? It's your map to get from point A to point B. And if you don't have a map, if you don't have any directions, you're just going to end up driving in random circles. So if you look at this little photo right here, there's a million ways to get from here to here, right? I could go this way, 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 and then back this way, and then over here, and then right? There's a million ways I could get there. But ultimately, there is one efficient, quick way. There's the fastest way to get here. And what I want to do is I want to get to a point where I'm having the same conversation every single time with minor variances, right? My sales process, right? So when I talk to somebody, I want each conversation to be like 90% the same, because that's how I get good at selling, is reps. It's reps. I'm having the same conversation about the same thing over and over and over, so I know what to look for. I can pick up on these finer details, and I can ultimately become a master at my craft and become an expert at selling insurance. So the way that you do that is you need to have a systemized sales process that you follow. So it's basically, it can be a script. If you're doing, like Zoom sales, you're probably not going to be like reading a script as you're talking to people, but you can have a general outline of what you need to cover, right? So it can either be word for word, or it can be kind of like bullet points that shows you how to get there. So I'll show you guys a good example of what a script looks like. And this is an example of like a really solid script, how you kind of want your thing to be put together. So as you can see here, this is a telesales script, so it's word for word, because you can just read it directly here. It's not like someone's gonna see you on Zoom reading this. I can go through, hey, is blank there? And I can basically read this entire thing word for word. And it's split into different sections, so it's kind of easy to digest and easy to navigate as I'm on the sale, right? So this is a good example of a script. If you guys want this exact script, it's gonna be linked down below in the description. But this is a great example of a solid telesales script, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, now let me show you guys the 2 ways that you can build passive income as an insurance agent. So from meeting and talking with dozens and dozens of multi-millionaires in this industry, the one thing I've noticed is every single one of them has made their money in one of two ways, okay? The first way is to be something called a farmer, and the second way is to be something called a teacher, okay? I'm going to explain these two different ways and show them to you in just a sec. So the teacher, this is the first way that people ultimately make money. And the reason I'm showing you guys this is I want you to see what you're aspiring to, right? Because you're getting into the industry. I just showed you guys how to get started, how to become a telesales agent. This is how you kind of graduate from that, and this is what you're going to aim towards. So a teacher, this is essentially somebody that's going to train other agents to sell. So once you've sold successfully for a while and you've kind of dialed a lot of these processes in, now you can go out and you can start training and teaching other people how to do the same thing. And you want to lead from the front. That's very important. You don't want to just be like, oh, go do this, go do that. Like, you don't want to be the person that hasn't done it themselves, right? So a teacher is always going to be a leader. And basically the way that you can make money as a teacher is you can start recruiting agents. So let's say this is you can bring other people on, and then they sell, and then they recruit other people, they bring other people on, and you're essentially just earning an override from all these people. And that is how you guys have seen, some of these, this is a terrible drawing, but you guys see some of these people in the industry like Patrick Bet-David, who sold a company for $300 million. The people that own Primerica, they made all that money, FFL, Symmetry, all of these big people that are building agencies, they're essentially training and recruiting and teaching other agents how to do something that they know how to do. And that's how you can go. I mean, you can make 6-7 figures as an agent, but if you want to really build a business and grow something that's sustainable, becoming a teacher is a great way to do that. Now, the other way that you can, kind of build real wealth and build passive income as an insurance agent is by being a farmer. So if you don't really want to be a leader, if you don't want to be responsible for other people's success, the other thing you can do is be a farmer, okay? So what this is whenever you go out and make sales, you're basically planting seeds, right? Each client is a seed in this analogy. So you're going out and you're planting these seeds, and every single time that you make a sale, that one client can give you referrals, or they can buy more things from you. So let's say I have 5 customers. If those 5 customers go out and give me a referral, so let's say one of those customers goes out and they give me a referral, well, boom, that's one sale right there. Now let's say one of those customers gives me another referral, boom, that's another sale. And then that person gives me a referral, boom, boom. And every single time one of these branches goes out, I'm making money. And eventually, if you're good and you master the art of getting referrals, one customer can turn into like 20, right? And every single time that you go out and get a customer, that customer can buy more things from you. So let's say I sell somebody, term insurance when they're in their, 30s. Well, when they're in their 40s or 50s, maybe they need to buy something else. And then they buy an annuity, and then they buy health insurance, and they buy this, and they buy that. And next thing you know, that one customer, that one lead that I paid for one time has turned into like 20 or 30 sales from all the people that they refer. And what happens is the longer that you do this, the more customers, the more of a network, the more of a customer base that you build. Another way people describe this is they call it a book of business. The bigger your book of business gets, you can eventually get to a point where you are literally only working your book of business. You are only working off of referral and word of mouth. And that is an extremely profitable way to do business because your profit margin is 100%, right? So when you get to a point where your customers, you're just in an endless loop of referrals and word of mouth, you basically just have a money printer, right? You have money growing on trees at that point, right? And so that is essentially the route of being a farmer is you start getting customers and you farm those customers referrals and you get more customers and it just grows and grows and grows and grows. Whereas the teacher, again, is you're training other agents to learn how to sell, and then you're earning a percentage of whatever they sell. So there's the teacher and the farmer out, and those are both excellent ways to build passive income and wealth in this industry. So ladies and gentlemen, if you got value from this video, I have something else that you're going to love. I put together a course to show you guys how to generate your very own leads. We used to sell this course for $2,000, but right now you can get access to this entire course. It's going to show you guys how to get your own leads. We're going to show you guys also how to close deals. All of this inside of this course. If you click the link down below, actually, let me redo that part. All right, so if you got value from this video, I got something that you are going to absolutely love. So we put together a course that's going to teach you how you can generate your own leads so you don't have to buy leads and you can have extremely high profits whenever you make a sale. This will show you how you can get your own leads for as little as $5 per lead, okay? This works for final expense, term, or IUL, any life insurance product that you're selling. This will show you how to generate your own leads for that. Now, I put a link down below in the description. You can get a free trial to get access to this course. You don't have to pay anything up front, and you can start generating your own leads as soon as tomorrow. So if you want to get access to that, just click the link down below, and we'll see you there. Take care.